Welcome back. And so after months of contention, back and forth, suspension and many court cases, we see the senator representing Kogi Central, Senator Natasha Aku Duah, gaining access into her office for the first time after the expiration of her 6 months suspension. So what were the conditions, enabling her return to office? And has she officially resumed? Let's get some clarification as the consultant on communications and strategy, Office of the Senate President, Mr. Ken Okolubo, joins us now on the program. Mr. Okolubo, rather, thank you so much for joining us on the program. Yes.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you now loud and clear. Welcome to the program.
I know you don't use Mr. on programs, but I'm a knight, so they call me Sir Okolubo. I'm not my Mr., but it's fine to have me. Thank you.
Sir Okolubo. Don't worry, we'll make an exception. Thank you for joining us. So give us an insight into what may have transpired, such that we don't run ahead with the conclusion that the Senate has bowed to pressure and allowed Senator Aku Duah gain access into her office. So what exactly transpired and led us here to her return to office?
You recall that Senator Natasha Aku Duah was suspended on the 6th of March, 2025 for gross misconduct. That was after the February 20 debacle where she refused to take her seat, and it was on live television. And her conduct was such that the Senate found it very despicable, and she was charged to the Ethics and Privileges and Public Petitions Committee. And that was done by Senator Yemi Adaramodu, the spokesman of the Senate. After that was done, the conclusion and the findings were presented before the Senate, and a decision was taken. And when the decision was taken, she was suspended for 6 months. And you know, the Senate is an institution that goes with their rules and regulations. She was in court, like you rightly know, and a judgment was given by Justice Binta Nyako. She attempted to resume in July, which was premature because the judgment of Justice Binta Nyako did not order her to be reinstated. It was an obiter. It was an opinion that said that the 6 month suspension was excessive. And she had gone to the Court of Appeal, where on her own grounds of appeal, ground 23, clearly questioned why Justice Binta Nyako should have ordered her reinstatement, or rather said that her suspension was excessive, but did not order that she should be reinstated. But besides that, why she went to court was not on the issue of her suspension. It was on the issue of her fundamental human rights, which she said was going to be infringed on if she was allowed to be moved to the Committee on Ethics and Public Petition. So, you know, the court is not Father Christmas. We have plethora authorities. You cannot ask the court to give you what you have not demanded for. That would be, delving into the voyage of discovery and delving into the arena. And so it was quite mind-boggling that while she had her appeal, and you fully well that she was questioning the judgment of Justice Binta Nyako, she came with a whole lot of people, which a lot of people consider as street urchins, and invaded the Senate and the House of Rep. You must agree that those are two chambers that are housed in the National Assembly. Then yesterday again, she had a case in court. The federal government of Nigeria is charging her on 2 different counts. One for cyber crime and another one for criminal defamation. The first one came up on Monday, the 22nd. That was at the Federal High Court. The second one came up at the Federal Capital Territory High Court, which was for criminal defamation. And incidentally, the Senate was supposed to resume yesterday, but has been postponed to the 7th of October. In fact, most of us would have been in Abuja but for the postponement. And what should have naturally happened was that since the leadership of the Senate had decided that they were going to unseal her office, meaning that the 6 month suspension has come to an end, it wasn't necessary that she had to go to her office yesterday. But she insisted on going to her office yesterday, even after knowing fully well that the secretary had taken possession and had been allowed to take inventories with the deputy sergeant at arms, Aide, who unsealed the office. She chose to go with that crowd of, do those crowd look like people who were not hooligans, who were trying to fight the police, who forced their way into the first gate of the National Assembly? That is more or less conduct that could likely cause the breach of peace. And so it's shocking that a distinguished senator will try to denigrate the same institution that she's representing.
So, Akolugo, I mean, it's interesting it's interesting to hear you use those words on the Nigerians that were with her. I think it's not appropriate to use such words. I mean, we do not know
What word did I use?
Well, the word you just used, describing the people saying they look like hooligans.
I didn't use it. I said, would you ask yourself if they did not act like hooligans? I didn't say they were hooligans.
Okay. So you're now faulting.
I said they not act like hooligans.
Yes.
In your own,
all right, just a moment.
Just a moment. That video. How will you tell
all right, let's not go to all of that. So now you're faulting the fact that she even had to resume yesterday. That's now also a concern, right?
No, not a concern. She could have gone to resume since her office has been opened. But without that crowd, it was unnecessary. It was more like just creating content and giving a reason for social media.
All right.
For news that were very unnecessary.
Well, perhaps it does show that the people are on her side. Sir Ken, allow me to use Sir Ken.
That is not an indication. I beg to disagree.
All right, no problem.
All the House of Rep members have supporters.
You've made your case.
They can all raise their supporters when they want to come to resume
or come to the office. You have made your case.
They were all voted by thousands of people. Everybody has the ability of raising support. So that's not about the people being on your side.
Let me ask you two questions.
How you conduct yourself that matters a whole lot.
All right, let me ask you two questions in one. So you do not think that the allegations of sexual harassment, intimidation, as she has alleged, you do not think that these allegations are true? That's number one. Number two, in Senate climbs, your boss, your principal, the Senate president, should have stepped down and not preside over this particular matter, but he had to do that. He had to even bring in his family into the mix when he presided over that particular case, or when it was mentioned. I remember him telling us.
I don't understand where you're taking us to. You're taking us back. What has he presided over? The issue of sexual harassment is before the court.
Yes.
Akpabio, the Senate president, has taken that matter before the court. Let me update you. You are not updated. You are saying he would have stepped aside. What would he have stepped aside for?
But in Senate climbs, I mean, this has happened not.
I don't understand what you mean by Senate climbs. I'll have to correct you.
Perhaps step down to allow
there is no issue of Senate climbs here. An issue was brought before the Ethics and Public Petitions Committee. A petition was laid there by Senator Natasha Aku Duah, and she was given an opportunity for her to present evidence, and she did not present any iota of evidence. And she did not even come, even when she was asked to come. She sent representation, and the matter was actually dealt with. So what do you mean by Senate climbs? You should try to educate Nigerians and not mislead them.
Yes, so you do not think that
of sentiments.
Pardon me if I may come in there, Sir Akolugo. The question is valid, even though it's a reversal.
Then please put this in a proper context.
into what is in the past. But let's move forward now.
This is the build-up to what has happened.
Yes, indeed.
Not in the past.
Yes, indeed. So if we're moving forward now, can you confirm to us if Senator Natasha Aku Duah only gained access into her office and has not resumed official duties yet, what is the position of the Senate on this very important matter?
That certainly is a position that Senator Yemi Adoramodu, the spokesperson of the Senate, will be delving into very soon. But she has gained access to her office. She has every right to go to her office. The 6 months has lapsed. Even though the case is at the Court of Appeal, the leadership of the Senate took a wise decision, because no matter where the decision flows, it looks more like an academic exercise because the 6 months has lapsed. Every other decision will be taken by the Senate leadership and the senators when they resume on the 7th of October. I wouldn't be able to speak on that.
Do you know that it's an important question? Because the Senate had prior to this time said she cannot resume until her case is
It wasn't the Senate that said she cannot resume, Bukola. It was the clerk who replied
but
and wrote a second letter. The clerk is the administrative head of the Senate. But he corrected himself on a second correspondence and said, look, it is the Senate leadership or the court that can decide the fate of Senator Natasha Aku Duah. And the Senate leadership have decided and have said, you can have access to your office, which means it's resumption.
Whichever way you look at it, Sir Kolugo, the clerk is a representative of the Senate. And prior to this time, a court had restrained the Senate Ethics and Privileges Committee from taking disciplinary action against Senator Natasha Aku Duah.
It was vacated. It was vacated, Bukola.
It would appear as if the Senate is selective in its approach to...
Bukola, that restriction was vacated.
Acting on court orders.
By Justice Egwato. He vacated it before he decided to recuse himself, and the case was taken over by Justice Binta Nyako. So there was nothing that was restraining the Senate Committee on Ethics and Public Petition from taking their decision. Then again, there's something I even thought you would even ask. She said she was treated like a servant. Senator Natasha Aku Duah was inaugurated on the 2nd of November 2023. By the 20th of November 2023, she had been named the committee chairman on local content. By January of 2024, she was already a member of the International Public Parliamentary Union. She was made a member of the ECOWAS. She has submitted 3 bills. And interestingly, Bukola, while she was on suspension, her bill on Federal Medical Center in Hima, Kogi State, was passed into law. How many senators have bills that have been passed into law?
Yes.
By effusion of her performance for the period she served in the Senate, this day nominated her the Senator of the Year. So how would she have been treated as a servant to have
she's not
all those
she's not here right now to provide clarity on which areas of treatment that she's talking about, but she also said something.
I just gave you facts are separate.
There are subsequent events that have happened after the facts that you have presented, so we'll wait for her representative to speak to elaborate on that. But she has also said that the document by which she was suspended may have been fraudulent. She spoke to that yesterday, that it wasn't signed by the leadership of the Senate. I'd like you to speak to that.
In fact, Senator Yemi Adoromodo, I know will address that. But if there was anything fraudulent, the senators that signed would have cried out. None of them cried out. So if not even one of the senators that signed said it was fraudulent, and the motion was taken on the floor of the House. Don't forget that the motion were in 2 phases. One, that she was to be suspended for 6 months, and the second was that if she apologizes, she will be allowed into the her suspension will be rescinded. But she did not take any of the options. And within the 6 months she served her suspension, nobody came and said my signature was forged or I wasn't part of this resolution. And even Senator Osita Angu, who was the one that moved the motion on National Iron Mining Company of Nigeria bill on the 2nd of November, the day she was inaugurated, who is incidentally a member of PDP and also in her party, is a member of that committee. And we also have the likes of Senator Binta Kinjigbe. Sorry, Senator Kinjigbe is also a member of that committee. He's also of the Labour Party. None of them have come out to say that their signatures were forged. In fact, the day she resumed, she seconded the motion of that was moved by that senator. So she broke history. She's a first timer who was inaugurated. I was able to speak on the Senate. What I'm just saying here is that let us not personalize these issues. Let's not be like it is a case of Senator Akpabio versus Senator Natasha Aku Duah. They are colleagues, and the truth is that Senator Akpabio is first among equal. Well, and that doesn't mean that at the end of the day, people would see Senator Akpabio of controlling the brains of 108 senators. It is wrong to give that picture, because
I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you, Sir Okologo. Sir Okologo, we're rounding off now with you. I'm just wondering how much this could be, heavy on you, because you're the media consultant to the Senate President. This image, this public image that he has been represented in the last few months now, there are those who argue that the Senate President perhaps has a history of some of the things that Natasha is alleging. I wonder how you respond to them.
Well, it's the thing about Senator Akpabio is that his name always attracts news. I've sat with him before and we have had this discussion. I don't think it's heavy on me. It's a case of most of the misrepresentations that have been done in the cases that he has been involved in. It takes a couple of time for us to prove that these things are misconceptions. But more often than not, leaders also make mistakes. Akpabio has never told you he's a perfectionist. But what the gains that the Senate has made in these 2 years 5 development commissions that have been inaugurated and they have been sworn into office. Over 91 bills have been signed into law. 52 bills have been signed into law. 26 of them are executive bills. Over 191 bills. Senator Yemi Adaramudu revealed all the statistics. I think what has been achieved in this Senate is a whole lot. I mean, a lot. And your station, we have been showing it, and you must also give us credit. We are paying for those adverts. It's costing us a whole lot of money on your station at the break for Politics Today. Showing the Senate presidents, reading out all the achievements. We chose to pay so that Nigerians can understand that it is a case of go and confirm, because there's Freedom of Information Act. If these things that are being said by the Senate president, it's true or false. So let's also look at the gains that have been made by the 10th Senate and not the negatives that you try to always put out there, which is more of emotions than sentiments. I beg for anybody to come to debunk any of those facts that I've presented, that Senator Natasha was not made the Senator of the Year, that Senator Natasha did not have free bills, that she did not have the Federal Medical Center, Ihima, Kogi State passed even while she was on suspension, that she did not contribute at least 5 times on the floor of the Senate. I mean, I'm just looking at facts. I'm not trying to be sentimental at this point. Well, she has resumed and she should just go back to her office and move ahead while she concentrates on her court cases.
Well, so Sir Okolubo, all the issues are important, whether they are, development matters in terms of infrastructure or development matters in terms of, women representation and the issues that have to do with women. Speaking of which, we're hoping that these issues will be determined in court, including, the others that have arisen as a result of this, with reference to your principal saying that he would sue the ex-NDDC MD who also made similar accusation. We hope that they'll be determined such that your principal can clear his name. We must anchor at this point, and thank you very much, Sir Ken Okolubo.
Thank you for having me.
Consultant, Strategy and Communication, Office of the Senate President.